Welcome to Over Totality. If you're new here, make sure to click that subscribe/add button so it appears on your feed. And if you're returning, welcome to the podcast. I'm Jay, your host for Over Totality. Let's get into the episode. Hold up. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are certain creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more big platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started and make your podcast. Hey guys, welcome back, and let's get right into the podcast episode. So, hope you guys enjoyed the first episode. I definitely saw some, nice feedback with the longer episodes, and I think people find that nicer, so we're going to try to keep those long episodes going. I'm pretty sure, it will happen. If certain days I cannot make a long episode, I will just push it to the next day so that it does become a long episode. But I really want to make longer episodes. So yeah, anyways, this is episode 2 of Over Totality, where we talk about random stuff, productivity, education, learning to advocate, and current news and more. So I hope you're doing well and you're staying safe. The times are tough. Times are very tough right now, but we're getting past it, okay? I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and, okay, enough of that. But anyways, first of all, I just wanted to say that there is a lot of stuff happening in our world. I mean, when is there not? But a lot of stuff that can be impacted as negative or positive, depending on certain, and a lot of stuff which is negative, and a lot of stuff that is returning negative. So, hope you like my enthusiasm right there. But before we get more into talking about that, I want to start with our vaccine talk, COVID vaccine, whatever, just informing the world, even though probably you'll find it somewhere else. I don't care. I'm going to still educate because I'm going to. So, let's just look at some statistics. So, if we look at our vaccine dosages, we have about 135 million people that are fully vaxxed, which is 41% of the population. And we have about 167.7 million people who have been vaxxed at least one dose, which is 51.1% of the population, including the 41.2%. So that is pretty good. We have half of our nation that is fully vaccinated, is partially or fully vaccinated, which isn't bad at all. 295 million doses were given. 135 million people, like I said, were fully vaxxed. So vaccines, they sound cool. Right now, provenly statistics that they have studied over recent times, they don't see a lot of dangerous threats that they have encountered, but let's just look at the optimistic side of this. It's going to be good. Make sure to schedule your vaccine. I know I'm scheduling mine. Actually, I think I'm going to get it within 2 days. So get your vaccine, guys. And make sure to stay safe, even if you're fully vaxxed. Still show some respect for people who are not fully vaxxed and still wear a mask and still socially distance, if that's still a thing. I have not been out in the wild, as you can see, so I don't know a lot of stuff. But a lot of people say with statistics there's 3 types of vaccines that were the mains, which was Pfizer, I always say this one, Moderna, or a lot of people say Madonna, and I'm like, okay, Moderna, I'm sorry, okay, and the other one was Johnson & Johnson. Pfizer and Moderna were 2 shots, and Johnson & Johnson was 1 shot, and later, I think Johnson & Johnson, some clots or something were starting to happen, so they had, a situation going on, so it's, not really that popular anymore. I don't know the exact details. You can, of course, search that up. But they've said that Pfizer has reported 91 efficiency after 6 months, while Moderna has reported 94% efficiency. So, give or take, they're doing good. For the younger generation of, I think, under 18, you can only get the Pfizer vaccine. It's 12 is the lowest age to get vaccinated. So, if you're pro-vax, go ahead. If you're not pro-vax, I will not be forcing you, but I do suggest you should get vaccinated so our nation can return back to how it was operating 2 years ago. But with that being said, the vaccine does have its side effects, which are not that big to be reported. There's just chills, you might get a headache, the basic stuff you'd get for like a flu shot. Fun fact, well, okay, this is not fun, but a fact is that the flu was also a pandemic. A lot of people, think, COVID and, influenza, they were similar. They were similar in the ways they both caused pandemics. A lot of people died from it, and now there's a vaccine for them, but they're very different. They attack different stuff. They are completely different. And their genes are very different, like they came from a different origin. Now, we've developed more immunization from the influenza, so it doesn't harm us as much as COVID done in today's date. And the reason it was because back then, that was a new thing, so it causes a lot of issues. Just if you think, as in history class, you learn when the Native Americans went to Europe, I think that was what it was, they could not sustain all these different diseases and they would die instantly because they were not prepared. Their bodies were not made for that. And it's kind of a similar thing, back then in 1918, this was not easy for them. So they were dying instantly. There was 50 million people that died, 500 million suspected cases. The virus was strange. First outbreak was unknown, but it was observed also in the United States. Deaths estimate from 70 to 100 million. So it was I just said 50 million, then I said 10. Okay, well, it's 50 million, I guess. But it was a big thing. And the pandemic was similar in that way, but it was different. It was a mutated difference, and it's much, much more different than what the flu was back then and what it is now. You could get the influenza and you might not be as stressed about it as back then. And it's really important for people to know this because, there was a lot of perception that they were similar. While they are similar in the eye point, they attack very differently and they are very different. You should be cautious. With the flu being spread over generations and generations and a century, it's become less harmful to the human body, while this COVID thing was just introduced last year. So there is a difference, people. So be careful still. And just have a very, bright, optimistic look and not pessimistic over the future. And we will get through it, okay? And a lot of people have been working very hard. So a big thank you for the frontline workers and all of the people that have made this possible, to being able to sustain ourselves and to being just a idol to humans and to people, because we rely on these people, and so it's pretty big. Going next to the potential hazardous asteroids that size of a skyscraper is zooming past Earth it did zoom past Earth on June 1st. I think that's what it says. Okay, yeah. The New Zealand nation signed to the space agreement with NASA, so they have the latest country to sign that, which is cool. NASA also released very cool new Milky Way galaxy centers, which they called it the Downtown, which I thought was pretty cool. You guys should definitely look into it. I'm very big on space, so it was pretty cool to look at, and they kind of called it violent energy, which I thought was very interesting because I don't know why, but NASA just has a certain way of labeling stuff, and I'm all here for it, so you go at it. This announcement has been a while, but Apple has released a lot of new products, one being the new iMacs, the colorful iMacs, which I am nostalgic, even though I was not born when they released them 10, 15 years ago, or whenever that last iMac was. Let me search it up. When were the last iMacs colored? It was 1999. Yes, I was not born then. So, yeah, they also released the supercharged iPad Pros with the M1 Maple chip, which is the current, biggest chip, and I'm very excited to look at that because it was dope. They're also having their worldwide developers conference through June 11th through June 7th to 11th, and they had a lot of cool stuff. They talked about the Apple AirTags, which I need. Okay, this sounds so bad, but I lose my AirPod case all the time, and the AirPod case is just not built to track. Like, it gets lost. Like, you can go on the Find My app trying to locate it, and it will just tell me it's, 20 hours ago it was right here. Like, I get 20 hours, like, that AirPod case has moved probably way far from its last location, so I will be getting it on that. Also talking about the Apple TV 4K stuff, and the new remote was really dope. I have an Apple TV myself, and I mean, I use it a lot. I just use it usually to AirPlay or stream YouTube on there. So it didn't make a big deal for me to get, like, the new Apple TV 4K one, but it was really cool that they are very, getting their stuff high-tech, which I thought was insane and cool and to live for. So congrats to them for that. They have been working very hard on it, so I thought, they get a little work done. Looking also at the... What was this? One second. I am not prepared, as you can tell, but... I mean, whenever am I prepared? I want to quickly say a big thank you that we hit 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel. That is crazy. It's a big milestone, and probably for the person who's hearing this, they're like 100 subscribers. Funny. But it's a big deal for me, so thank you so much for those 100 people who are subscribed and support me. Love that for you. And just very excited to see what's to come in the future. Lovely. I want to talk a little bit more about something, which in particular I did not think I was going to talk about this, but, I mean, am I ever really I don't know. Okay. Anyways, I want to talk about something. So, I thought this was so humbling for me. I took a journaling class last semester, so the semester we're in summer break, but this class I was taking earlier than you get it. I was taking it was a journalism class, and it was about broadcasting journalism over just different topics, different stories, different stuff, and I was all here for it. I'm not one to journal. I like to do video production. I'm just not as dedicated to that, and you might be laughing considering I have a YouTube channel. I love to run the YouTube channel, but it's a hobby. It's not really something I can dedicate 24 hours into. And so, I took the class out of just like, oh, whatever. I just, I'll take it, have fun a little bit, and it'll just be nice to kind of get away from a lot of academic stuff. But when I was in that class, I learned a lot about just the little things and the little stories and the way you tell it. You are the director of every story. And, I mean, that sounds very bad because, like, Jay, of course, you are the director of every story. Like, obvious. But you really get to play around with how you want to get that story out. You can take such a bright story and put it into such a dark way. Or you can take such a dark story and put it into a lighter way of saying it. And so, I did a couple of stories. I did one over online instruction versus in-person instruction. I did one over school supplies, like what's your favorite school supply? And they all sound so amazing. And when I got to direct it, and I got to interview, and I got to have my B-roll shots, and I got to choose all of this stuff, I got to manipulate the entire story into the way I wanted to show it. Now, this is what a lot of the news media does in today's day. Headlines, very big thing. An actor or actress might say something else, and they will take that exact dialogue, put it in their headline, and make it seem like it was something else. So, manipulating something can be good or bad depending on what you're using it for and the cause you're using it for. But, I mean, I had a really fun time in that class, and it really taught me that small stories do pop out. And it is very big and very, just an amazing thought to think of, that we, as people who look into journalism and broadcasting, you get to see, the bigger picture and then you get to show that bigger picture to your audience, which I thought was crazy, and just it opened my eyes up more to production, which I thought was very crazy because I thought I knew it all, which no one ever knows it all, but everyone does think that, including myself. So it was really fun, and it was a very humbling experience because I definitely got to learn about a lot of the stuff that a journalism and a journalist does. You know, you see those on the news, you see them on, I mean, really anywhere, but you see them, and they're doing their job to the best extent. So proud of myself for taking that journalism class. Really got to learn a lot about it. I'm gonna miss the class though because it's a very good class. I don't know, just something about that. I want to talk next about a little bit about the there was a tragic shooting in the LA County Fire Station 81 investigation. They linked it to they linked it to a found property of a house on fire. So I don't really talk about deep stuff, and because, you know, it's for everyone, it's PG friendly, I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's current event, it's current news, and there's nothing wrong with being educated on what's happening in our world, unfortunately. There is some bad stuff that happens, and you still have to just learn and really be aware, even at a young age. So all I'm going to say is that, but my heart goes out to people who were innocent and who, you know, lost their life or got injured or whatever, and we really need to stop this because there is a lot of mass shootings that have been happening. I was looking at a demographic, Alright, so I had a CNN, I forgot, but they said that this year, okay, this journal thing was posted on May 10, 2021, so this has definitely changed, but in the 18 weeks of our new 2021, there's already been 194 shootings in which 4 or more people were shot or killed. In 18 weeks, we've had 194 more shootings. Let that sink in. It is crazy. It is not acceptable. It's just shocking. Rounding about 11 shootings per week, guys. That is crazy. That's more than every single day. It probably didn't average to, like, I'm just getting the average of 194 divided by 18, but it's crazy. And we are not like this nation. We need to be peaceful and really look at being friendly, and I don't know what the cause of these are, and neither am I going to get into it, but my main point is we need to stop this, and we need to make it stop. We cannot just post something about it, or, you know, all of this stuff. We need to actually advocate, and we need to educate, and we need to try to grab people. A lot of shootings happen and people already know it's going to happen. They just take it lightly. Believe it or not, I was reading something about a lot of how should I say this? A lot of criminal activity, crimes, a lot of crimes that happen in the United States. I think it was half or more, or was it half or lower? It was one. But a big percentage of crimes, someone knows what's about to happen that is innocent, but they don't report it. And it's crazy. I do understand, you know, in the midst of moments, people might think it was just a joke or whatever, but that joke, if it was not a joke, you know, what are the chances? It's crazy to think about. And I'm very sad and very sorry for people who have been a victim of this. It's not okay, and you need to, whoever's thinking of this, like, please stop, because we are here to be peaceful and to be a good example to other countries of how peaceful we are, and currently we have not been doing that. So that's all I'm going to leave it at, because I definitely think I'm not going to get more into it, because just, let's leave it at that, okay? We're going to try to stop these and just have a peaceful country. So thank you for that, my little rant over this, but it's crazy. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is how I've gotten into, how should I say this? I've gotten into digital note taking. I am one for paper, okay? I love paper note taking, it's just easy, whatnot. But recently, with especially the pandemic in this particular year, I had to do a lot of it on digital, and boy, God, I love it now. I do digital note taking all the time, and it really makes me want to get a new iPad with an Apple Pencil because of just my obsession with digital note taking now. So I might be considering that. But it's crazy. I was always a paper guy. I was never like, I don't know how you guys can write on an iPad screen because it's not easy. But I guess it takes practice because, sorry for my yawn. I guess it takes practice because I'm into it now. And I'm very I like it because you have every stationery supply you could ever imagine for in the world, and it works out always, so that's fun. Um, I don't know why I had to bring that up, but I had nothing to say in the moment, so I tried to make it lighter by saying that. And, just, yeah. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that, okay, because I feel like I'm elaborating a little too much. Tell me what's your favorite podcast, you guys. I have been into more podcasts. I've been listening, to Same Brain by Justine and Jenna. I've been listening to Relax by Colleen and Eric. And I've been listening to a few more. So let me know, do you guys like podcasts? I hope you do. And, how is it going for you? I feel like podcasting is fun, and I wasn't always into listening to podcasts until recently, actually. Like, I think the start of this year, I've been very into listening to podcasts and just really looking at it like that. So, we're done with that. I have a little rant to do with its iMessages. Okay? I think, and this is a personal preference, and I might sound so stupid saying this, but I'm just going to bring it out there. I think that iMessages should have a delete button for iMessages that you accidentally send. Because there's just a lot of reasons why there should be a button that can delete. Let's just start off with me saying that, I quietly messed up and I texted someone else over a topic that I told them I was not going to text. So it was kind of weird because I told them that I was not going to do it, and then I told them I was going to. It was a long story. I was trying to plan a surprise, and it all went down in the drain. Okay. I also had recently one of my family members put they were probably texting someone else about something, and they just gave me a long list of this, and I was like, it wasn't it was something personal to them, it was about financial stuff, and they texted it to me by accident, I guess, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know, I didn't read it. I tried not to read it, at least. I read, the first few lines. I was like, what did she send me? Because I thought she sent it to me on purpose, but then I was like, okay, this is definitely not for me, so I just kind of ignored it and deleted it from my phone so that I would not ever get snoopy and look at it. But they seriously should have a delete button, or at least an edit button, so if I type something or if I send something, I can at least change it to make it seem more natural. But I have a problem with that. They need an edit button. I feel so scared to text on there sometimes. I'm like, I need to look at the name 15 to 20 times, make sure I'm not hallucinating, and then I will text. But I thought that was kind of funny, and that's just a little funny rant that I had over that. What else have I been doing? Well, being on summer break, I have not done a lot. I've kind of gotten into long socks or short socks. I would wear medium socks, but now it's super long or super short. I don't know what's up with that, but I am interesting. Okay? Very interesting sometimes. And I've recently gotten into driving, excuse me, no. I've recently got into editing on a hard drive, and that's really nice, okay? I really wish I had it more because the process is faster. The only thing I'm scared of is that the cable is going to come out, and then I'm going to lose all my progress, which kind of would suck. But I trust the process, and I was just like, It's going to work. Nothing will happen. We'll be good. And it worked out. So I've been editing on a hard drive, I think like 2 videos now. It's good. It's just sometimes not portable, especially with the new Macs that you need to get adapters for. It is crazy because the drive I am using is a 2 terabyte and it has an HDMI port, and the Macs don't have that port anymore. So I had to get a drive, and now I did not want to get a drive with a wire because that's like now some more stuff is dangling off my computer. So I got the one that takes 2 of the, what are the Apple ports called? USB-C? It's the Apple ports that they have now on my new Macs. I took those. I got one of them that takes both of them, so it like sticks. It's like a hinge. It kind of sticks onto the Mac, so it's like doesn't dangle off. It's kind of like it's attached with the keyboard, if that makes sense. And then you can put other stuff that's gonna dangle off of the thing. It's a mess, but I've tried to do it, and it worked out. I'm still just very scared if I'm editing and that drive just accidentally slips out of the desk and the connection just breaks. It's a nightmare, but I've been editing on it, so I'm gonna trust the process, okay? What else do I have to say? I feel like I always forget, and like I have a mental plan of what I'm gonna talk about on the podcast, and then just going to completely forget about it. So yeah, lovely. Anyways, that's enough with that. I wanna, start coming to that timer. I'm going to almost wrap the episode off. My goal is to reach 30 minutes. We'll see if I reach 30 minutes, but I wanted to talk about one last thing, and that is the Mandela effect. Okay, now, I realized that I'm going to talk about this, and I most likely said only talk about this for 4 minutes, but I'm probably going to get into like a whole spiel of the Mandela effect. But I don't know if you believe in it, but I do believe in it. I am quite crazily just out of my mind thinking about some stuff that they talked about the Mandela effect. If you are unaware of the Mandela effect, which I don't think a lot of people... Sorry if my mic just kind of did that. But I will read you a quick little definition, which says by the healthline.com, the Mandela effect is an unusual phenomenon where a large group of people remember something differently than how it occurred. Conspiracy theorists believe this is proof of an alternate universe, while many doctors use it as an illusion of how imperfect memory can be sometimes. So, I don't know what it is. I'm not on, like, the big, like, pro or con side on this. Like, I don't think it's fake. I don't think it's real. It's just, I'm iffy. But I do lean towards it's being real because when you look at stuff that you know, that you remember as something, and then it turns out not to, and you search the entire internet trying to find the when you know it as, and it's not, it is crazy to think about. Very crazy. And I'm going to give some examples, and you guys can join the Mandela effect journey and see if you guys remember this as anything crazy, sci-fi, just things, okay? So we're going to do the 40 mind-blowing examples of what the Mandela effect is. First... Okay, this is already getting to me. The first one is the name, of course, Mandela. Nelson Mandela being the first South African president. A lot of people remember him dying in prison in 1980s. But he died in 2013. This one was crazy to me because I was one of the people who believed that he died while he was in prison. See, here's the weird thing. I knew he was a president, so I also don't understand, like, that part, so it might be just a theory that I'm going to get into in a second, but I knew he died in 2013 when he also became the president, but I remember it, like, 1980s. I don't know why. Now, here's the theory that came out, that they say that when a lot of people start to believe something and they say they believe it, a lot of people not even thinking about it, they kind of just adapt to the idea and they're like, oh yeah, I know, I think the same. So it might be just my brain telling me, like, Jay, they thought that, so you probably did too. But I know he was a president. I remember that. But I also thought he died in 1980s. So that is weird. This one is actually not a big thing, but it's... a lot of people thought the peanut butter GIF or GIF, whatever you say it. I say GIF. It was called Jiffy. I've always remembered it as GIF, so we don't have a problem there. What else? Looney Tunes. It was a cartoon. It was not spelled Toons. It was spelled Tunes. So, yeah. This one was big. The Berenstain Bears did not exist. It was the Berenstain Bears, not Steen. Stain. It's, again, very crazy to my mind, thinking this is... Okay, next. Curious George did not have a tail. This is also very crazy to me. I do not know what is happening, but I'm not trying to talk too much about it because I'm going to get crazy. Febreze was always spelled with only one E. Or, well, 2 E's, not 3 E's. There we go. That's crazy to me, too. I'm gonna do a couple more, and then we'll stop. Fruit Loops was spelled like Fruot. It was not spelled like Fruit. Like, not fruit. It was fruit, like, with 2 O's. Which is crazy, because I also remember it as that Fruit Loops, but, okay. Monopoly Man and his monocle. He does not have a monocle, actually. And I also think he thought he had a monocle, because that was just... It's so, like, just my brain hurts, because I'm like, I saw it. I know I saw it, but I can't find it anymore. They say Pikachu's tail is clear. It's, fully yellow, and there's not a black spot. Also, I thought there was a black spot on that, so it's crazy. Kit Kat never had a hyphen. It was just Kit Kat. Also very crazy to me, because I know for a fact there was a hyphen. For the Fruit of the Loom logo did not have a cornucopia, which is kind of like a basket, but I remember it as that. Cheez-Its is not, it's Cheez-It. It's not Cheez-Its with a Z at the end. Crazy. Double stuffed Oreos was spelled S-T-U-F, not S-T-U-F-F. They spelled it wrong. What else? Oh yeah, C-3PO, a big Star Wars thing. Got it wrong. The robot is not fully gold. He has one silver piece on his right leg. Crazy. And Chartreuse, I did not know this one, like I didn't even know the color, but a lot of people say that it was a magenta pink color, while others agree with you, but in reality it's a shade of green. I did not know that this color even existed, so this one did not, boggle me too much. This one was weird to me too. We've all heard, Mirror, Mirror on the Wall from the classic Snow White, but it's actually Magic Mirror on the Wall. Does not make sense to me. I've always remembered it as Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. Very mind-boggling. This one was very, tragic. Luke, I am your father. It was not the line. It was, I am your father. So, that also is quite scary. But we're going to leave it at that, you guys. We had a lot of fun, hopefully, in today's episode. Make sure you enjoyed, and let's go to the outro of today's episode. Alright guys, I hope you had a nice episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go and check out my socials on Instagram and Twitter at Only Study Center, as well as the official Instagram handle for this podcast, Over Totality. While you're there, make sure you go and check out my YouTube channel as well, which has a lot of great content offering for you guys. And stay safe, have fun, and just enjoy life to the fullest. I'll see you guys next time for a new episode of Over Totality. Goodbye.